All right, welcome back. We were just talking about our financial astrology. And if you missed that, go back and look at that episode, and we will look at the transits for the next week. So I'm starting a day earlier because it's just interesting to see how some of these things are lining up. We've got always keep your mind and your eyes peeled for the degrees. So we have Venus over here, 18 Virgo, and we've got it making a trine over here to Uranus, 18 Taurus, Virgo, Taurus, Earth. And we almost have kind of a wide trine over to Pluto. It's out of degree orb, but we still have it by element, and then the sun at 26 Virgo, and yesterday it was 26 Capricorn. So we had an two exact trines, Sun, Pluto, and Venus, Uranus. So what's that? What does that mean? So the sun in Pluto trine. Well, that's good because I think anytime the sun is in a good aspect with Pluto, we have it shining into the depths. We have it going, I see you, I see that. And a lot of information comes up. A lot of things are brought to light. A lot of hidden things come out. And, if you look at some of the world news, there's so much coming out now. There's so many frauds and scandals and scams and people being called out. So many, I don't want to just go into it now, but it's definitely happening. And now we have Venus values, in Virgo, which is like getting really nitpicky over there with Uranus. So we have sudden things valued, sudden things earthy, sudden things getting more grounded, maybe more practical things. People are looking at things more practically, so the surprises aren't so much, because we've got these in grounded earth signs. It kind of subdues your zany, crazy Uranus things, and it makes it more earthy. It makes it more, what's the word I'm looking for? Practical. So maybe like Uranus, instead of giving a gift of something really zany, it's going to give a gift of something practical. Instead of giving you oh god, I don't want to make anything up. Instead of giving you something just off the wall or crazy or out of the blue, it's giving you more well thought out practical kinds of concerns concerning your money and values. Let's put it that way. Now we have Saturn over there, which if we go ahead now a day, we'll see. I mean, Uranus is going to be there because it's slower moving, but now we see Venus will then be making a inconjunct over to Saturn. So they don't really have a good conversation going. They don't really have much going on, but it's interesting because it's sort of like they don't have a whole lot in common. Venus is over there all nitpicky about its values in Virgo and making lists and putting things together and getting organized, and it's sort of ignoring that I told you so kind of thing that Saturn might be putting in. Venus is like, yeah, I know. I'm making a list. I'm putting it down. I'm being practical. I'm looking at it. All right. So it's like maybe the neighbor telling you that you should be doing something. It's like, yeah, I know that. Just mind your own business. I'm on it, kind of thing. But anyway, it's sort of like a slight irritating kind of an energy. And then we have that, we still have that square, that's edging ever closer with the Saturn and Uranus. They're just going to get closer. We've talked a lot about this, but we'll be feeling that a little bit more. But interesting now that Venus is dinging in there a little bit. We have the resonance at those certain degrees. And now we should also notice, we're seeing things at these late teen degrees, and we see Mars over here is 16 Gemini, and we see that it's starting to slow down. It's still got a little bit motion to it, but let's see, let's see where it's at. 16. It won't hit to 18 till the 25th. So when is that? It's like next Sunday. All right. So then Mars will get up to those degrees, and then we'll have the mutable trines. So remember, it's a mutable sign. So when it moves ahead, let me just do that. You can see it. There we go. Mars here, it's at, but see, Venus has now moved on out of that degree. Even though Mars has moved into it, it's still kind of forming they're still saying in a wide kind of a mutable trine. And it's only one sign away from the Uranus, but we got the mutable air, and then we've got air over here. So it's giving a little bit of a, when it moves there, actually, maybe move it ahead a day, 2 days, 3 days. Look, it's slowing down. This isn't until the 28th that it actually makes the trine over there to Saturn. So we got the air. So it'd be a little over a week. When's that? We would be looking at it next week, but just to show you that, we still have that energy there. So we'll talk about this more next week, but we would have Mars moving into that trine there with Saturn. So giving some energy to some practical concerns. All right, let's go back. All right. What else do we got? I guess I'll go back to this today. No, let's go up one. No, let's go back. Okay, so actually, let's go back 2 days. We talked a little bit about this last week, but I just want you to see it here because we have that Mercury, making that opposition over here to Jupiter. So big ideas, an abundance of intellectual stimulation, and that kind of adds to a lot of this energy that's coming out. So that definitely has brought that up. Now, Mercury is rapidly going retro, in its retrograde motion, and we'll see here's today, and it's at tomorrow. It's 1 degree, and there we go. It moves back into Libra. So let's see there. Oh, I'm sorry, getting at 0 degrees. There we go. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to get it right on it. It won't go. The time isn't right. But anyway, let me go ahead a day, because then now we see that it's gone into the next sign. It went, back into Virgo. So when is that? That's the 23rd. So it's coming into Friday. We have Mercury backing into Virgo. So it's going to get a little bit more, I'd say more picky, slightly more neurotic. It's like, are you sure you did that? It's like, yes, I told you 17 times, but yeah, but, and it's like, yes, I know. We're getting that kind of tension. And then, it's getting closer to Venus. So we got that again. And there they are on the 26th, next Monday. We have Mercury and Venus again, the retrograde hit. Both of them in Venus values, both of them in Virgo values nitpicking, being really, really fastidious about things. And then we also learned in the financial astrology lesson that with Jupiter retrograde, there's like less spending, less money going out. You're more concerned with the practical value of things, and this would totally be in sync with these two planets, Venus and Mercury in the late degrees of Virgo. So this is definitely analyzing, looking really close. Is this valuable? Is this good? I've looked at my list. I'm going over stuff. This is a really good time to do that. Definitely a really good time to do that. All right, what else do we got here? Thursday, let's see, I told you about that. And then the moon, look at here, whoops, we didn't even talk about that yet. So we got the new moon here. I guess you can see it about there. You can see the moon coming up, and like on the 25th, you can see here, it's like it's the moon as it goes into Virgo, it's going over Venus, and it's going over Mercury. So the moon is going to emotionally put up that more of a nitpicky, focused, list making, go over it, check it twice, kind of being a neurotic tendency as it goes over that. And there we go. And it's almost at hours. It's almost at the exact, there we go. And we go to back on days. So we see it here on the 25th at 2 degrees Libra. Sun is at, sun will have moved into Libra. What is that, on the 23rd? And then the moon comes over here. We got the new moon. So new moon in Libra. This would be a good time to start some new things to concern with anything to do with relationships, anything to do with contracts, businesses, anything to do with pleasure, anything, Libran, fairness, judicial things, anything that kind of comes under the rule of Libra, to start that. But then we also have its Venusian rulership. So you could have things concerning beauty, values, and then that mix. So getting started on those new projects that maybe is how to create more harmony with things. There we go. And then that could be in anything from organizing your desk, your house, your drawers, your life, your relationships, whatever, to create more harmony. So this new moon is, I would say, maybe also about creating harmony in the area of the chart that you have the new moon in. So look and see where the 2 degrees Libra falls in your chart. And that will give you an idea of where to best use the energies of this new moon. All right. Then we already talked about Mercury going back into to Virgo, which was interesting because you remember that Mercury, when it goes back into Virgo, it's the sign that it rules. Also, it's in the sign that it's exalted. Mercury, it rules and is exalted in Virgo. So it's like an honored guest in its own home, because it rules 2 signs, but it's still exalted in Virgo, which is interesting. So it's a comfortable place for Mercury, even though it's retrograde. So I would say you can make use of this energy, this retrograde Mercury energy, almost more than any other time, because it likes to be here. It's happy being here. So it doesn't mind going back over details, going back over the fine points. It kind of likes making sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. It hasn't missed anything. It feels good with that. It's not like, oh, I can't wait to get done. Now, Venus's might be a little bit cramped. It's like, okay, it's like, I got my mother here. When is she going? It's like cramping my style. Might feel a little bit, but that will, it'll cross over and then it'll cross again. So it'll be a little crossed, so to speak. And then we see down here, we've got the semi-sextile of Mars and Uranus. And again, semi-sextiles and inconjuncts, well, it's like your next door neighbor. And then, or, the inconjunct could be the neighbor across the street or behind you, so to speak. So as long as you're not irritating to each other, it's like you can handle it. All right, what else do you need to know? Venus. Let's go back a couple days. There we go. So the 23rd, which is Friday, we've also got Venus opposing Neptune. So we've got things that are idealistic, romantic, dreamy. You could be enjoying art. You can be creative. You can appreciate beauty, but then you also have to be aware of being deceived or delusions, because it's you got that opposition. So we can have that, because the opposition, you can see it, it's out there. That's why, the opposition is having somebody else to bounce something off of. It's hard by yourself. That's the purpose of the opposition, to see it out there, to see it on somebody else, almost like a shadow projection. So on one hand, it's kind of dreamy and idealistic, but then it can also be delusional at the same time. So we have a little bit of mix, just depending on how you are and what you're looking at. But then we also see that it's it's making, you know, a 3-degree sextile and then trine over to Pluto. So we have that depth in there. I think that might help this from becoming too delusional, because we have Pluto in good aspect. You know, it's 3 degrees, but it's still a good aspect. You know, we have the Earth and Earth with the Venus and the Pluto, Earth. So we have a little bit of peering into the depth of things, and being in trine, it's a better relationship there with Venus. So I think this is definitely gives you the ability to maybe dream some reality, and Pluto would be like, well, okay, let me get it. You want to do this, but let me show you the full side of it. And then Venus is like, oh, okay. Sure. Or no, thank you for showing me. However it goes. All right, what else here? Saturday. We're at the 24th. Yeah. Saturday, we've got, again, we showed you the moon moving over all the stellium here, and we talked a little bit about that. What else? Enchanted language, expressions, a good time to consider what you need, what to do to make your dreams come into a reality. So again, you know, because we got the moon coming over all this at the same, you know, the moon coming over all the stellium up here at the same time, we've got this Venus thing with Neptune going on. And again, this little bit of Pluto still kind of sticking its foot in the door. And then Sunday, boop, we have our new moon. You know, we got the new cycle, the new moon, we got an expansive time, and we've also got this a little bit of this Neptune Jupiter alignment still. You know, they're still, you know, they're 10 degrees away, but let's just look at it going back. Let's just see when that is. Let's see how far it goes. I got to do it days. We're into November already. Look at it, still not there. I don't think it catches up, does it? Let's see. I guess I could look in the ephemeris, but it's just kind of interesting to show it to you. 29. There's floating around. It goes back to Aries. It's direct. So no, it doesn't go back that far. See, and look, we already went all the way to December. All right. Interesting. All right, what else did I want to show you? I love this program, Solar Fire. Oh, we went over through all that. Gosh, my little clicky fingers going quick there. All right, what else did I want to show you? Okay, we're at the new moon. The nodes right in the middle of the sign. So make sure you check, you know, check the nodes. We're about to, you know, they're right in the middle of these signs. We got the right in the middle of the Earth on the bottom, and the North node, and then we're right in the middle of our Scorpio, the South node. Just take a note where that's at. And what else do you need to know for the next week? Here's 25th. Let's see if anything on the 26th. And Monday, because we'll be back on Tuesday. 3 degrees. We see where there's our 1818. Here's our 2626. Oh yeah, look at here. Here's when we got the Venus, and it's conjunct Mercury, and then making the trine over to Pluto. So look at there. Okay, so we're going to end this week here with these two together. So we got the Mercury. When we blend Venus and Mercury, you get Mercury. Did you ever know that? So Venus and Mercury over there together in Virgo. So it could be quite a grounded time, you know, with Venus, we got our values. With Mercury, we have the mind. And with Pluto, we have depth. Values, the mind, depth. Depth to the mind, values to depth, depthy values. You know, just throw those three adjectives or verbs around, or nouns, whatever. Throw those three words around and get an idea of that focused look at things. It's to me, when they're together in Virgo, those two, it's really pulling your values, and especially with Mercury retrograde, um, it's forcing you to look at what's been really valuable to you. And right there with Pluto, we can take this time to really examine stuff. I think Pluto there is good. It's pulling stuff up, and you're going, well, let's see, do I really need this rubber chicken? Do I really need this bag of rubber bands or something, or it's like whatever, you'll be finding these things like, do I really want or need this? All right, the last thing I want to go over today, just to reiterate some of the things we talked about in financial astrology, we have Mercury going direct in the very beginning of October, on the 2nd of October, and it's going to be at, I think, 20 degrees, Virgo. Then we have Mars going retrograde on the October 30th, and it will stay there until almost the middle of January. So we have all of November, all of December, and half of January. So about 2.5 months going through the Christmas season with Mars retrograde. Okay. And then Mercury goes retrograde again on the 29th of December, and it will go direct about the same time, just a few days after Mars goes. Like January 12th, Mars goes direct, and then on the 18th, Mercury will go direct. So we have that little bit of time at the end of the year, and coming into the very beginning of the year, that we have that retrograde energy of Mars and Mercury. Just good to know. And then Venus, we don't have to worry about that until July 23 to 23. So 7-2-3-2-3. Venus goes retrograde. So if you don't, want to put your money into a car or property or anything, do stuff before or after, and then it won't go direct until September 4th of 23. So next summer, at the end of summer through the beginning of fall, we'll have our Venus retrograde. So good to know. Again, we have our Mercury retrogrades 3 times a year, and those are kind of easy to look up. Those are easier to note, but sometimes Mars and Venus slip past us. So the end of October, mark your calendar, right before Halloween, the day before Halloween, Mars goes retrograde, and it stays retrograde till just think about the middle of January. And the same with Mercury. Mercury will go retro right after Christmas. Think about that. Just think about the holidays, okay? Maybe easy way to remember this one. Mars, Halloween, Mercury, just after Christmas. It's on the 29th, and it will go direct, around the middle of the month on the 18th of January. And then you don't have to think about Venus until late next summer. And it's interesting too, July 23rd, 23. So I just throw those dates at you just so they got a little searing voice in your head saying those. All right, I guess that's it for today. So have a good week. Try to plan some of these things, use some colors or something on your calendar to mark some of these times. It will suit you and serve you well. All right, see you all next time on our astrology study group. Bye for now.